Okay, everybody, now we're going to look at trade discounts with a series. And this is still really fairly simple math, but it involves a lot more steps, and it is more complicated than what we did in the last module, was just the single discount. So there are two main ways we're going to work on figuring out these problems. One is the chain discount method, and one is the complement method or the net price factor method. So we're going to start with the chain discount method, and I'm going to move this up here because there's going to be a lot of writing, and I want to make sure I have room. And what you do with the chain discount method is you just find your list price, which is $7.50. And then you find your series of discounts. You have 25%, 10%, and 5%. And you just go through them one at a time, and you do it exactly the same as you did the single discount. You have $7.50, and your first in the series is 25. So you multiply $7.50 by 0.25, and you get $187.50 as your discount amount. So you subtract that from your original price. So you have $7.50 minus $187.50 equals, now you have $562.50 as your price. So this is what we're starting with now, $562.50, and you see your next in the series is a 10% discount. So that's going to be times 0.10. So you do that, and you see, of course, that it's $56.25 is the amount of the discount. So you just subtract out again. See, this is basically just doing your single trade discount step kind of over and over until you've gone through everything, okay? Because you can't just add, if it's in a series, you can't just add up the amounts of the discount and come up with the right thing. That's just not how it works, okay? So you subtract that out and you get $506.25. So you take the $506.25 and you've got your next in the series. So we're going to multiply that times 0.05. And we get 25.3125, which we're just going to make 25.31. Okay? So then we're going to come up here and have 506.25 minus 25.31. And when we get this subtracted out, we are at the final price we are looking for, minus 25.31 equals 480.92 is the net price we find using the chain discount for the series. And if that's the simplest way to do it for you, that is fine, as long as the problem doesn't ask you for the net price factor or something like that, because that's the next thing we're going to learn, is how to find the net price factor. Now, in order to find the net price factor, you have to find the complements of your trade discounts. And all that means is, what do you have to add to it to make 100? So if you have 100 and you subtract 25, you get 75. If you have 100 and you subtract 10, you get 90. If you have 100 and you subtract 5, you get 95. Okay? And we make all of these decimals, and we multiply them together to find the net price factor. So the net price factor is going to be 0.75 times 0.90 times 0.95. And if you do that, .9 times 0.95, you get a net price factor of 0.64125. This is your net price factor. Okay, so then what you do with that is to find the net price is you take this amount and you multiply it by your list price. So you're going to have 750 times 64125. And you're going to get 480.9375, which you see will round to your 480.94 for your price. So you see, it's the same. It works out the same. It kind of will depend for educational purposes. There may be times when you have to give the net price factor, so you need to know how to find that, but it basically comes down to what is the easiest way for you to find it. And so we need to find our total discount amount for our last step, and that is very simple. We just take the price we started with and we subtract the price we ended up with, and we see that we get $269.06. Okay, we're going to do one more of these together. I'm going to erase some of this at the top because these problems take a lot of space to work out, and I'm going to use this white space up here again. Okay, this one, it says the equipment is listed at $2,400. So that's what we're starting with. We're going to start with the chain amount again, just like we did the last time, so you can watch it happen one more time. And we have trade discount series of 30 and 15. We only have 2 this time, so we have a little bit less work to do. But we do the same thing. We multiply this times 0.30. You cannot, I know some of you may be thinking, why don't we just add 30 and 15? And that because it's 30% off 2,400, and then it's only 15% off of what's left. It's not 45% off of 2,400. I will show you when we get done how that gives us a different number, okay? So if you do that, you get a discount of $720. So you subtract that out. And you get 1,680. And so then you multiply that times the 0.15. And you get another $252 discount. So you take your 1,680 that you came up with and you subtract $252. And you get $1,428 as your new discounted price. Let's see what happens if we do 2,400 times the 0.45. What kind of discount does that give us? That gives us a $1,080 discount. And if you subtract 2,400 minus 1,080, you get $1,320. So see, this would actually be less than the price you come up with. So they will do this, they will tack on discounts to make it look like, look, you're getting the series of discounts, but it's actually not as much as if they had given you all of that at one time. So just make sure you don't get confused and don't just think, if I have 30% and 15%, I can just add those up, because that is not how we work these problems. Okay, now let's go back and think about how to find our net price factor for this one. Remember our complements. Subtract them from 100. So you get 70.70. Subtract 15 from 100. And you get 85. So we're going to multiply 0.75. Oh, no, excuse me. 0.70 times 0.85 to get a net price factor. We have an NPF equaling 0.595. And if we multiply that times our beginning price, we get $1,428. So we have arrived at our correct price coming from it both ways. And if we want to know our discount amount, again, all we do is take our original amount and subtract the new price that we came up with. And that's $972 in a discount amount. Okay, that's the only examples I'm going to go through because I just don't want your mind to go numb watching me do the same thing over and over. This is a little more tricky. If you have any questions or concerns about it, do not hesitate to reach out. I have linked this video as well as a YouTube video to kind of help you really get this sunk into your mind.